Before we go any further in this series, before we talk about money, about platforms, markets, or income streams, I want to take a pause because there's something really important we need to talk about. And it's this: you don't build a creative career alone. Because growth, real, sustainable growth, requires input. We live in a world that loves the idea of self-made artists, the lone genius, the person who just figured it out. But that story leaves out something essential: learning, community, support, and permission. The biggest myth I had to unlearn was the idea that if I needed help, structure, or guidance, that perhaps I wasn't cut out for this. But every artist I admire, every single one, didn't grow in isolation. They learned from others, they tried things, they failed publicly and privately. They refined, they evolved. When you think about it, art school never really ends. You just choose where and how you keep learning. That's why I wanted to include this extra episode in the first quarter. Because before strategy comes mindset. Before income comes growth. And before growth comes input. If you're only ever outputting, posting, producing, selling, without feeding yourself new ideas, new skills, new perspectives, burnout is almost guaranteed. Growth needs something to push against, something to stretch you, something to remind you that you're not stuck. You're just mid-process. That input can look like learning a new skill, joining a community, getting a mentor, or simply giving yourself space to experiment without pressure. And that brings me to something I really want to share with you. I was recently accepted into a 12-week arts accelerator program called CATAPULT, offered by ArtsLink NB. And I want to talk about it, not as a flex or an ad, but as an example of what growth can look like. CATAPULT is designed to help artists build sustainable careers. It teaches us things that we're not often taught. Things like time management, record keeping, financial planning, marketing and branding, contracts, storytelling, and being heard. On an off note, my key takeaway was that I stopped believing I had to do everything perfectly and be seen as an incredible artist. I realized that all of it, my whole career and life, is an experiment. I'm happy just getting things done as just Ellie. It releases so much pressure from my work and actually helps me get more done. It's okay to mess up or look human because guess what? I am human. Just Ellie sounds wonderful to me. Now back to the episode. It's about treating your art practice with the same care and structure any entrepreneur would give their business, without losing your soul in the process. And what really matters to me is this: I applied, it was free to apply, it fits into my evenings, and it doesn't replace my work, it supports it. This program doesn't mean I suddenly have everything figured out. It just means I'm choosing to keep on learning while I'm building. You're allowed to do both. One of the most important habits I've built, and one I want to encourage you to build, is low pressure, consistent practice. I have this sketchbook I draw in weekly, with no rules and no goals. I try ideas, I follow impulses, I let things stay weird, unfinished, or unsuccessful. And those sketches? Those are my YouTube shorts. They're not precious, they're playful, they're practice. If art starts to feel like a chore, something is off. Practice doesn't have to be productive to be valuable. Sometimes the most important thing you can do for your art career is just showing up. Not to perform, but just to explore. One thing I really want to underline is this: growth opportunities don't always cost money. They can look like free workshops, local arts organizations, open calls, online talks, mentorship applications, artist communities, even comment sections and shared progress spaces. That's actually part of why I want this channel to exist. So you can share your progress, ask questions, talk about fears, and learn out loud. You don't need to know everything before you begin. You just need to stay curious. As we go further in this series, we're going to talk about many ways you can make money with your art. And I want to say this clearly now. Multiple income streams do not mean you need to do everything. You are allowed to start small. You are allowed to grow at your pace. You can try everything and keep what's working, like I'm doing. Or you can try one thing and put all of your focus on it. Both paths are valid. Confidence grows alongside experience. Comfort zones expand with repetition. There is no rush. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more you, but with better tools. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this episode, it's this. Showing up and being just you is more than enough. Just like this video wasn't planned, don't be afraid to adapt as you grow. That may very well be how you reach the greatest of goals. You deserve support. You deserve learning. You deserve to build a creative life that feels nourishing and not punishing. As always, you're invited to share your progress here, in the comments, in our community, or in your own quiet practice. Until next time, keep learning, keep creating, and remember, your art, your pace, your path, all matter.